Why living near your children in old age might be the biggest mistake of your life. Aging is one of the most natural yet challenging transitions in life. Many people dream of spending their later years surrounded by their children and grandchildren, imagining heartwarming family dinners, spontaneous visits, and a life of closeness. But what if this dream is nothing more than an illusion? What if moving closer to your children actually leads to disappointment, loneliness, and even resentment? If you have ever felt the sting of being sidelined in your children's busy lives, if you have ever questioned whether your sacrifices meant anything in the long run, you are not alone. This reality hits hard, but understanding it can set you free. And this is where the ancient wisdom of Stoic philosophy comes in, to teach us how to cultivate inner peace, independence, and a fulfilling life without relying on our children for happiness. In this discussion, we will explore why moving near your children in old age might be the biggest mistake of your life, and what you should do instead. We'll delve into compelling real-life stories, practical solutions, and timeless wisdom to help you embrace the later years of your life with dignity and joy. 1. The illusion of closeness. Why proximity doesn't equal connection. Many parents assume that being physically close to their children will automatically lead to emotional closeness. They envision regular visits, shared meals, and laughter echoing through the house. But reality paints a different picture. The reality: your children have built their own lives, filled with careers, responsibilities, and families of their own. They are not the same people they were when they lived under your roof. While they love you, their time is limited, and their focus has shifted to their own families and ambitions. The hard truth: proximity does not guarantee meaningful connection. In fact, it can create unmet expectations that lead to disappointment and frustration. Instead of spontaneous visits, you might find yourself sitting alone, waiting for a phone call that never comes. Instead of weekend family gatherings, you might see your children once a month, if that. A real-life story. Consider Margaret, a 72-year-old retired teacher who moved across the country to be near her son and his family. She imagined babysitting her grandchildren, attending their school plays, and feeling like an integral part of their lives. But within months, she realized that her son and his wife were too busy to include her in their daily routines. She spent most of her days alone, feeling like an outsider rather than a cherished family member. This isn't abandonment, it's the natural progression of life. When you were young, you moved away from your parents to create your own identity. Now, your children are doing the same. Understanding this truth frees you from disappointment and helps you build a life centered around your own growth, not their availability. 2. The burden you never meant to be. Most parents never want to be a burden on their children. They spent decades providing for their families, working tirelessly to ensure their children's success. But aging brings challenges: declining health, financial concerns, home maintenance, that can gradually shift the balance of dependency. The unintentional weight on their shoulders. Small requests for help can evolve into larger responsibilities. Suddenly, your children find themselves juggling their careers, raising their own kids, and managing your needs as well. While they love you, they may also feel overwhelmed, leading to feelings of guilt, stress, and even resentment. A story of sacrifice and struggle. Robert, a 68-year-old widower, moved in with his daughter after experiencing health problems. Initially, both were excited about the arrangement, but over time, tensions grew. His daughter struggled to balance work, parenting, and caring for her father. Robert felt guilty for disrupting her life but didn't know how to ease her burden. Eventually, their relationship suffered, and the warm father-daughter bond they once shared was strained beyond repair. The Stoic perspective: a wise person does not place their happiness or well-being in the hands of others. Instead of becoming dependent, plan for your future, physically, financially, and emotionally. Invest in health, secure financial independence, and find fulfillment beyond family ties. 3. Losing your independence: the slow death of the spirit. When you rely too heavily on your children, you risk losing the essence of who you are. Many elderly parents who move close to their children gradually let go of their own social lives, hobbies, and passions. Their world shrinks, and they find themselves living vicariously through their children rather than building a meaningful life of their own. The consequence: you become more emotionally dependent on them, expecting visits, calls, and attention. When those expectations aren't met, feelings of loneliness and bitterness creep in. A story of rediscovery. Janet, a 74-year-old widow, resisted the urge to move in with her son. Instead, she chose to move into a vibrant retirement community where she made new friends, took up painting, and traveled the world. When she visited her son, their time together was joyful rather than obligatory. Her decision to remain independent preserved not only her dignity but also the quality of her relationship with her family. The takeaway: true happiness comes from within, not from attachment to people or circumstances. Instead of waiting for others to fill your life with meaning, take charge of your own destiny. 4. The alternative: living life on your own terms. So, what should you do instead? How can you ensure that your later years are fulfilling and meaningful? Create a fulfilling life independent of your children. Build friendships, engage in hobbies, and pursue passions that excite you. Maintain physical and financial independence. Plan for your future so that you don't become a burden on your children. Embrace self-sufficiency. Learn new skills, travel, and explore new interests that make you feel alive. Strengthen your mindset. Develop inner resilience so that your happiness does not depend on external circumstances. 5. The freedom of letting go. In the end, the greatest gift you can give yourself and your children is freedom. Freedom from obligation, guilt, and unrealistic expectations. Letting go does not mean abandoning love. It means nurturing relationships without burdening them with responsibility for your happiness. Final thoughts. Love your children deeply, but do not depend on them for your well-being. Build a life that is rich, independent, and meaningful. Find joy in your own pursuits so that your presence remains a pleasure, not an obligation. Remember, you are not a burden. You are not forgotten. Your best years are still yours to create. If this message resonates with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want more insights on aging with strength, dignity, and purpose, subscribe to our channel and join our community of like-minded individuals who are redefining what it means to grow older with wisdom and grace.